Hi, it's Amy Simpson, and I wanted to speak today about the importance of acknowledging how difficult it's been over the past 8 weeks. For some people, maybe slightly longer, um, but also beginning to acknowledge what we have learned through it. So there's a lot of people that I'm speaking to in the group sessions or in the individual sessions, and even though they are really acknowledging how difficult it's been, they have struggled at different points. And I think we all will continue to have some days that'll feel okay, and other days are going to be really really difficult. But actually, what they're starting to recognise is they've maybe learned lots. There has been, if we are always inclined to, if we can look for the positives that have come out of this situation, then some of the things I've heard people say is that they had underestimated the pace that their life was prior to going into lockdown. They were on that hamster wheel, just absolutely running, possibly having lost a lot of enjoyment for in all aspects of their life. Maybe work had, even if it was something that they really enjoyed, the amount of hours and time that they dedicated to work had just, the balance had completely gone. So it was, life had become about working and less about doing stuff for themselves, or less about getting a chance to spend time with the people that they really care about, and maybe just feeling, certainly I know from a lot of the people I've been speaking to, spending a lot of time just really managing that underlying feeling of overwhelm and anxiety. And so seeing that, so even though it can be that yesterday I was speaking about um that sense of really grieving life that we've lost, because things have changed significantly, but actually maybe recognizing I don't know if I want all of that back. And also recognizing, even though that's maybe a good thing around that realization of, there are lots of elements of how life was prior to all of this that weren't allowing me to give the best of me because I was exhausted, maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed. But it's then scary if we consider, so what happens when we come out? What happens when we try and get back to some sort of normality? Does it mean that I have to jump straight back in and get back on that hamster wheel and go even faster because we've got this gap, um, and there's space time that we need to make up for, and that's still unknown. We don't know what it's going to be like. We don't know how. There's been so much disruption across all services at the moment, really given us an opportunity to think about what works and what doesn't work, to think about ways of working that work and really get the best from us, ways that actually we were absolutely knocking our pan in, but probably not given like her best because we were shattered and just overwhelmed. And maybe there's that sense of really appreciating this life being a bit slower, maybe that kind of, rather than routine always being that kind of, predominantly that kind of 9 to 5, maybe people have realised I actually really like having a bit of space in the morning, and then it means I can do, but I really like, I'm very productive later on in the day, or vice versa. I really like early morning because by the end of the day my mind is blank. I can't really think in the same way. Maybe we've learned lots of lessons about how we can communicate, how we can work. So there's probably lots and lots of positives that have come out of a really, really difficult situation. And it can be really helpful to take a bit of time just to consider, what are the lessons? And before we hit play and we return to whatever life is going to be like on the other side of coming out of lockdown and trying to return to whatever the new normal is going to be, what are the bits that we don't want to hit play on again? What are the bits that we're choosing to keep on pause or just to stop? And just using this time to really think about that, because this is our invitation to really think about, if we haven't been reminded of the importance of our own kind of health, physical health and mental health in this time, I don't know when we ever will be.